Good evening, this is Cab, here to drive you crazy, and welcome back to another edition of Cab's Drive-In Movie Review. Today we're going to be going over the brand new Disney Pixar movie, Turning Red. In this review, I will be going over my personal thoughts and as well giving a little bit of the details about the movie. But if you want to, I am going to make this as a mullet review, which means I will be talking about spoilers coming into the end of this video. If you want to jump straight into the spoilers, I will leave the timestamp right now so that way you can be able to just go straight to the spoilers without necessarily need to listen to the review. But if not, just listen to the review until the spoilers point, or obviously just cut off from the video so that way you don't want to be able to hear any of the spoilers after that certain point. But without further ado, let's just jump straight into this movie. Super excited about this new movie, especially right after Encanto came out. I never got to do my review for that one, but that was just simply because it was just so popular at the time. So many people already got into it, and I just wanted to get my views on this one. But it starts off with a 13-year-old girl named Maylene, who is actually living in Canada while holding on to their family's natural traditions of Chinese culture, and being able to try and live her life out now up and approaching herself as a teenage years. She eventually starts feeling a little different and realizing that there is a change in her life that is slowly starting to approach her and overcomes her overnight. It's one of those things that in a lot of people's sense of it, it's like essentially a girl who is turning the age of 13, who is experiencing their forms of puberty. But with this one in particular, obviously turning red is not the pubescent version of what actually happens to the girls. In this particular case, it has that nice little interesting Disney Pixar kind of twist to it, and it upholds to the fact that Maylene starts to overcome this transformation of becoming a red panda. A red panda being a very popularized animal coming in from the Chinese tradition of their family that they praise and give honor to all the way back to their original generations from China. And they have their whole entire temple that they take care of and actually use as a touristic kind of location as a family business. They are eventually trying to help out Maylene, who is coming over with this red panda situation that she has upholded upon herself to be able to actually overcome and get rid of it. But the problem is it could only happen during a certain point in the year, and she still has to be able to make her chances to go out with her friends, her potential relationships, as it never really comes around to, but won't get too much into that, and as well as just dealing with the obvious things of trying to avoid being caught and changed into the red panda themselves. But unfortunately, they want to, as her, Maylene, and her friends realize that a very popular group of boy bands is coming into their area, and they are really excited to be able to have an opportunity to get there, but are trying to save up enough money to be able to go to this concert that the parents will not allow them to go to. So what do? They try to have any reason to exploit the red panda to help them earn a little bit of a cash to try and find their way to get into this concert. So with that all in being said, it is a very interesting movie. I enjoyed it. You know, it does have that sense of growing into and coming of age kind of feel to it. The comedy on it is really spot on. You know, it does have those moments where there's a lot of cuteness. The animation, I will say, is absolutely amazing. Like, there's a scene where it's just a cooking scene at the very beginning, and it just goes into like in-depth close slow motion, you just see how well the production was made for this animation. Even though like a lot of the faces may not look extremely realistic, it does give that regular cartoony kind of feel to it. I actually really appreciate that they go down into that kind of realm to make sure that you are, appreciating it as a, cartoon while still giving it very much realistic kind of feel to it. And the attention to detail to like the fur, it really shows that they put a lot of time and effort into this movie, and I do very much appreciate this movie. I originally had watched it the first time. I rewatched it right before I decided to make this video, just so that way I can have a better clarification on how I felt about it. And personally, I will give this movie a 8.5 out of 10. There's a little things that you could always say, well, why didn't they do it like this? Why didn't they do it like this? But the storyline of it is all good. It does get a little choppy at times. It doesn't ever feel boring. And you'll always find a reason to say, I can watch this over and over again. So once again, I very much appreciate this movie, and I hope a lot of people will appreciate this movie as well. By this point in time, though, we will talk into the spoilers of everything. So if you do want to just cut away from the video right now, it will have no problems from that point. Or if you're jumping into this point right now for the spoiler talk, welcome. Let's just get into it again. So the one thing I really didn't like about the movie in its sense was how it is like going through puberty, where you are overcoming a lot of things, and obviously there's all the little subtle hints that come across it with, oh, is the red blossom blooming, those little things that can make you go, oh gosh, okay, we're talking about that kind of stuff. And it gives that little sense of, oh, turning red, oh no. And the little bit of embarrassment that comes with the mom always saying things or trying to do things to always protect and take care of her daughter. That's really all I could really say that's really bad about it. So what I really do like about it is how they kept the story very progressive, and how you always want to say, okay, what's going to happen next? Okay, what's going to happen next? Obviously, the situation with Tyler, you always thought, okay, maybe he might become a person. Obviously with like Devin, who was the person that worked in the mart. And to me, it was always just little weird things that you just go, you know what, we've all been at that age when we were younger that we always had that one person that we visualized on and just said, man, they look so good to me. But when you're like an adult or older, or haven't really thought about putting those kind of mindset into it, it kind of just goes, who is this guy, and what would you ever make you think that this is something that you would like, And so eventually, when she starts getting into those thoughts, she draws out her pictures, comes through the pure public humiliation that the mom does at the mart. It really progressed everything to see why, like, it just jumps straight into the curse, And even with that, I will say they really worked it in, except for how they just said, now it's just an inconvenience. It was traditionally passed down, but it's now just an inconvenience. I didn't really like how they kind of just said it's an inconvenience. Obviously they showed it's on the red moon that you can be able to do this ritual to be able to release it. How they were then starting to exploit the red panda effect though, and be able to work on it to be able to actually get the money that was necessary for the concert. It really does keep it very interesting. And then when it comes down to the little plot twist, like, oh, the concert's on the 18th, but the ritual will be on the 25th. Oh no, I read the wrong date for the thing. It's all on the same day. And the friendships all got lost because of the such, and everything else from that point up into when the ritual happened and she decided that she wanted to keep the red panda, how the mom ended up breaking her pendant that made everyone else have to break their pendant, so that way the mom can eventually be stopped after she turned into her original red panda form, which was something that blew my mind. You know, obviously when you hear that they were talking about everyone had it before and then they got rid of it, but they had to keep it captured somewhere, that obviously keeps something in your mind that, oh, they still cherish the fact that they have that. You know, that's why they still wore it. While hers was the necklace, the other aunties were like in, you know, rings or earrings and all that kind of stuff. So it really does have a good feel to it. I did like how everything kind of came together. You know, the ending was a little bit interesting too, just to say like, okay, now we're all comfortable with her being the red panda, her having the opportunities to, you know, keep it, be able to control it, use it only at her own discretions, while then finally having the parents be able to approve of it. So then it kind of does lose like the whole like, okay, now it's now not about puberty kind of thought processing on it. And to a lot of people they can say like, oh, that had nothing to do with puberty, it was just the fact that this was this. But you know, there's like the, you know, ways of putting it that can make it seem like that. You know, the terminologies and how things are said, the attitudes to the mood swings, and just the obvious talk about turning red itself. But once again, I did say I give this a 8.5 out of 10. Very enjoyable movie. I do have just my little hiccups on it that I don't really put a lot of emphasis to, but if it's for like movie critiquing itself, I will just keep it at that. But once again, I will always say thank you very much for watching this video. If you did like anything I had to say, please leave a thumbs up for me. It very much is appreciated. If you have any critiques for myself, there's the comment section right below. I always look at all the comments that are available, and of course I got my subscribe button right over here, so that way you can get more content from me and my family. My name is Cab, and I'm here to drive you crazy. Aloha, God bless, take care.